In this session of trade school,
that's some big iron. The house will just go, and you won't know what happened.
Trying not to bring down the house in structural moving.
There's very few men that can take this. Come on. My dad's the boss.
Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Push, son.
To follow in his father's footsteps, this student must keep his ears open and his eyes on the road in trade school.
I'll just be like, Dad, you know, you gotta let me grow up sometime, you know. It's fun telling people I'm a house mover because then it's like, you what? How do you do that?
It's a lot of hard work, but it's exciting.
You feel kind of famous for a minute. It's your 15 minutes of fame when you go down that road.
At Rockie Mountain Structural Movers, apprentice Shane Davis is interested in more than just his 15 minutes. This 18-year-old wants to help historic structures survive the long haul.
That's our main focus, is the old houses, and if we keep those around, I can come back when I'm 60, 70 years old and be like, I made sure that house is still here to this day. And that's just a great feeling, knowing that I may not live on forever, but what I did will.
Today, Shane and his co-workers take on their newest challenge. This cabin, built over 100 years ago, needs to be disconnected from a modern addition, then moved.
We're going to punch through the wall so we can see underneath this building.
First step in this complex process is exposing the foundation. Leading the charge is master mover and Shane's dad, Bill Davis.
My dad's the boss. he calls the shots. I try to put my input in there, but his is fine.
Most of my guys have, you know, minimum of 5 years experience. Shane's been around it all his life, but actually in the field, it's been about a year.
I'm technically the rookie. I'll try anything once. So if I'm good, I'll do it twice.
It's Shane's first time in a backhoe, but his job is simple. Dig down to the bottom level of the foundation.
See that? You see the ground inside of the building?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I want to stay that, maintain that grade.
This learning opportunity doubles as father and son bonding.
I like working with my son. I've trained a lot of men, and I've always thought, well, that I would much rather be giving this information to my son. Boom, both sticks straight out, both sticks. Shane's first time on a backhoe. He seems to be working out okay. Give him about half a day on it, he'll think he's a pro.
On his road to the majors, Shane just hit his first bump.
You're just a little deep here.
It dug further than I thought it was, and I knew I'd messed up right as it came up, and I was like, oh man, we're letting the expert go in there and level it out, you know, so.
Bill fills the hole in the dirt, then knocks a new one in the foundation.
Shane, if you guys will grab some tools and start dismantling the ductwork and start clearing out all this cinder block.
By creating access under the home, Shane paves the way for the key concept in house moving.
Basically, when you load and move a house, it's very similar to a trailer.
But instead of backing in a conventional trailer, on this job, Bill will direct the crew to build one underneath the house. The process starts with two main structural beams, followed by cross steel and wheel systems in the back. But picking load points for the two structural beams is the critical first step.
If you put too much weight on one load point, it can uneven the house and you could possibly lose it.
What I want from you, Shane, is show me where you think these beams are going to go.
It's another first for Shane, but the hole he could dig here would be much harder to get out of.
I've never really done it before. I've always watched my dad. If I'm thinking correctly, I'd say the first one would probably go somewhere right within this area. And then the other main steel, probably right about there.
The beams must be the correct distance apart and placed to safely support the weight of the house.
Okay, that's our center point.
Only Bill can say if Shane chose wisely.
He's almost perfect. He's only off by inches, so he's there. He's learning. Okay, well, see, you were only off from that distance. Well, without a measuring tape, I don't even know.
I was about 6 inches off, 6, 7 inches off, so I don't think I did too bad.
When trade school returns, father and son test the ties that bind.
Easy.
Dad, you're the one that took off.
Okay, just kind of hold it.
It's hard working with your family.
Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing.
It may not look like it now, but 18-year-old Shane Davis is learning to save houses.
This is the oldest recycling business.
But not everything gets recycled. On this project, only part of the home is making the move.
This structure right here is the one we're moving, this baby.
We're fairly skilled at knowing the difference between new and old. And we want to tear new off in this case and save the old.
With his father Bill taking the lead, Shane and his co-workers get an early start on a big day.
Get some coffee and donuts, let's go.
First up, the crew must clear a path wide enough for this historic cabin. But this student can't move anything until he gets a grip on a much smaller problem.
Every job we come up against, there's always something that's maybe minuscule, but very different at the same time.
Here, I gotta show you boys how to do this, don't I?
I guess, man.
I guess, here we go.
He knows every little in and out of doing this business.
Okay,
That's pretty much where I learn something new every day.
one time. Go ahead, son, do that one.
So just wrap it
Wrap
around.
around 3 times and hook it back to itself.
For Shane, the lesson is a small victory.
Oh, yeah.
With the task of building a trailer underneath the house, things are about to get harder.
Once you start moving all your equipment around, the heavy stuff, that's when it starts getting stressful because you got to be on your toes every minute.
That's some big iron.
Each of the 2 main beams weigh 4,000 pounds. Stabbing them under the house requires special tools.
Well, these are our skates. They're pretty much just giant rollers that support our beams.
All right, let's set the skates. There you go.
Aiming for the load points that Shane picked yesterday, the crew uses a bobcat and the skates to slide the beam to the back of the foundation.
Ah, nice. Come on. Nice.
After placing the other main beam, this apprentice turns his attention to the first of 4 cross steel pieces.
This is the cross beam, and we have to turn it 90 degrees,
Okay.
and we'll probably end up doing that by hand.
All right, let's start coming around with it.
These beams aren't as heavy, but placing them perpendicular to the main beams makes them even more dangerous.
You need to be real careful. You need to recognize when you can and cannot get hurt. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Okay.
The work is hard, dirty, and dangerous. Add close quarters to the mix, and the occasional father-son squabble is bound to ensue.
Easy.
Dad, you're the one that took off.
Okay, just kind of hold it back then.
You know, we get in our arguments, you know, what father and son doesn't when they work together, you know, it's hard working with your family.
Let's get the dollies.
Where's the chain?
It's right there. Sometimes I get anxious because I really need to make sure nobody gets hurt. Knock these cinder blocks out right through here.
This one?
All of them. Just start knocking.
While Bill's concerned for all his men, he's even more protective of Shane.
Come on. I got to be honest here. I make my son stay back just a little bit more than I do the other men. I don't know how I would be able to continue if I let my son get hurt on this job. Doing all right there?
Yeah.
Shane knows that to eventually carry this business on his back, he'll need all the experience he can get.
Okay, go ahead. Come on around.
I'll just be like, Dad, you know, you gotta let me grow up sometime. It's like, let me get in there, let me have the experience, you know, and let me know what to do if something like that happens again.
With the beams in place, the crew uses the bobcat to lift the front of the steel structure into place.
Okay, clear.
At the back of the foundation, the same task requires elbow grease.
What I'm doing right now is I'm using one of our 20-ton bottle jacks to raise the main steel up to the where the cross beams will hit the floor.
Finally, the crew installs a trailer hitch called a bolster.
Let's set it down.
For more on all the steps of this project, go to DIYNetwork.com.
Shane, let's start putting up all the tools. That's it for tonight.
Shane will need his rest. Tomorrow, they take the show on the road. Coming up, the house hits the road. And Shane tries to keep it from hitting the ground.
The house will just go, and you won't know what happened.
Let's roll them wheels on back.
For apprentice Shane Davis and his co-workers, today is moving day.
You're there.
But this crew isn't carrying boxes. They're moving the entire house.
It's very hard work. I mean, there's very few men that can take this. They love what they do. They're not afraid to get in the dirt and work hard.
Kind of, you know, a program that's been built into me. So that's what I do.
The wheel systems, called dollies, are in place. Now it's time to lift the house.
I think I'm gonna have to raise you up a little bit, huh?
To provide Bill with the precise control he needs, the crew sets up a series of remotely controlled hydraulic jacks.
This is one of our 50-ton hydraulic jacks. It's powered by the central pump, which is just pushing hydraulic fluid into it so it raises it up. Without these, I'd be in trouble.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
The jacks are an important tool, but they aren't foolproof.
We can have jacks fail. The house will just go, and you won't know what happened. That floor is splitting. And that's why we always make sure when we're going up, throwing crib blocks and shimming in there. So if it is tight and it decides it wants to go, then it'll only go about an inch or two at the most. Because you don't want it to go any more than that.
Losing this historic structure would be crushing for homeowners Scott Hicks and Renee Kinney.
Today is kind of Judgment Day in a sense.
The cabin Shane is helping move is one of two historic structures joined to form Scott and Renee's old home.
We love the charm of this house, and we never wanted that to go away.
So when it came time to build a new house, they decided to keep and move both original buildings.
Let's bring them jacks forward now and set it on the truck.
Safely moving a house to a new foundation takes years of experience, but Shane is chipping away at the process piece by piece.
The one thing that I really want to work on is getting the entire aspect of it, you know, the load points, where everything goes. I want to make sure that I know how to do this.
While he's too green to be behind the wheel, Shane is ready for the most risky step of all.
Right now, everybody's in go mode.
A lot of things can go wrong, but also a lot of things can go right, and that's what we're hoping for.
Putting a house on the road is dangerous, difficult, and almost always fun.
Let's go. It's rewarding because you get to see the look on people's faces when you move it down the street, because you can smile and be like, they're in awe because of what I'm doing.
Man, they make it look easy. They really do.
I mean, when you've lived in this house as long as we have, and then you see it on wheels, detached from the other part of the house, it's sort of amazing.
Just down the street from its old address, this house has a brand new parking space.
Yeah. Oh!
But getting into that space won't be easy.
Well, one of the challenges we're looking at here is getting this building and truck into position so that we can back up over the foundation.
You can see my dad has very little room to work with. Oh!
For Shane, it's a chance to learn while watching his mentor.
Block down, unhook, and then get the tractor straight with the load.
That guy is awesome, man. He's my hero.
I was raised by a single parent with 7 kids. I quit school at 15, lied about my age so I could work full time.
I've realized in my life, no matter what cards are dealt to you, it's always up to you to make the best out of the hand, and my dad has come out with ace high, you know.
To get the house next to the foundation, Bill will have to pull a new card out of the deck.
My dad's gonna back it in as angled as he can and push and try to get the right butt in to stay there and get it to tilt this way. Here she comes. Whoa, we did it. Just lined up. My dad, he could do this in his sleep, man.
I wouldn't get much sleep.
When trade school returns,
Push, son.
Shane drops the house. On purpose.
It pushes and then it fails. Watch it, it's gonna come over. Not that easy.
After 3 days and lots of hard work, Shane Davis and his fellow structural movers have this house next to its new foundation.
Tired, excited we're almost done.
Nothing like a plan that goes off right, you know? And nothing worse than one that doesn't.
They're ready to take the wheels off, but this crew is far from done.
Push, son. There you go.
Beautiful.
Because the dollies can't roll inside the foundation, skates are required to get the house into position.
We're just going to use skates instead of dollies as wheels.
As the weight of the house shifts to the back, Shane must build a tall stack of wood called a crib pile for the next set of skates.
Let me come down in there with you, Shane.
You want a 3 base?
I want a 5 base.
5 base? Okay. Building crib piles, you have to know how to do it, you know, because you got to have it just right. Because if you start building your crib pile sloppy or something and the weight decides it wants to shift a little bit, then your crib pile will come over and you lose your whole load, and you really don't want to do that.
Okay, I think that's our right height, Shane, for the jack.
It's another father-son project, and no one sees the dynamics of this duo more clearly than Shane's mother, Mary.
Bill loves Shane. He's very proud to be able to teach Shane what he knows.
Get it where the one on your left is flush with the main beam. Right there. Okay.
I tell them my heart swells with pride, and I have tears in my eyes because I see a great team. Makes me proud.
Getting the house in rough position is something to be proud of. But now it's time to square it up.
Let's set up for our creel in the back.
We're sitting about 8 inches that way on this side. So what we're gonna do is, it's a technique called creeling. When he starts that machine up, I'm gonna push this jack up so it's straight, and what will happen is this jack will actually end up facing just like this.
Creeling results in a brief controlled fall. For this student, it's a big test.
And then what happens is it pushes and then it fails, but it falls on these safeties. Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing when you're creeling. We're creeling it right now, so watch it, it's gonna come over.
That it? We're out! Coming down. Okay.
And that's a creel.
With the delicate move complete, the crew can set the house down, and Shane can celebrate another job under his belt.
That looks just right there.
He did real good. Did good this time around. Yeah, he does better each time. Matures a little more, learns a little more, likes it a little more.
For more on Shane's work moving this historic cabin, go to DIYNetwork.com.
Okay. There it is.
It is a big accomplishment. I just moved a house, you know, down the road.
When it's all done and you actually have time to sit back and look at what you were up against, there's really a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment.
You know, I'm ecstatic for sure. I mean, that Bill and his guys have done just a great job, made it easy and smooth.
Fully restoring the home will take time, but with his father's help, Shane is preserving history for his children.
And hopefully they'll know that I was part of this crew that moved this house here and saved it from being torn into scrap, you know, so I'm proud of it. I'm way proud of it.